Greetings all. Another beautiful day around me, all of us, wherever we are. We're still seeing events that sometimes might disturb us. But it is my wish that we come out of this without suffering as much as we can. And I say that because and I'm going to give you a little scenario. We all drive automobiles. And some of us may have be involved in accidents. Some drive motorcycles, and some get involved in accidents. Most of the time when those involved in an automobile accident come out with minors, most of the time. Because some people do meet with tragic end. But most of the time we come out with minor injuries. But look at the motorcycle person. Even if, say they got to going down the road, hit a hole in the road, the motorcycle gets out of control, that motorcycle rider more than likely is going to get hurt serious enough that hospitalization is necessary. But if you've been driving for a while and you know how to take evasive actions, it will help you to escape serious injury. If you're riding a motorcycle for a while and you have the ability to take evasive action, even if you have to lay your bike down, if you're dressed correctly, helmet and a thick layer of clothing, it will keep you from suffering severe injury. So all of this has to do with preparation. And those of us who see what's going on and take the time to observe, because you can see what's going on and not observe it. I mean, when I say observe, I mean you look at it with an eye towards trying to comprehend how it will affect you and the people around you and the world around you. That's what I mean when I say that. Because we see things every day. Never, like I was saying, sorry for the interruption there, but I had to talk to have a chat. Anyway, you gotta have a comprehension of what's going on so you can make a plan that will work. It's not very often that a plan works 100%, but in today, in the world we're dealing with today, the situation that we're in today, even a plan that works 75% is still good. Because even today, you can see that some people have no chance. They're losing their lives. They are losing their livelihoods. You see people in Ukraine losing their lives. And we say, well, in the beginning, a lot of people would say Russia attacked Ukraine. It's true. But then when you look at the story and comprehend the story behind all of that, the picture that you see then changes somewhat. The farmers in America, they're losing their livelihood. Why is that? People in Germany, France, Great Britain, their livelihoods are pretty much gone. They are people who are multi-millionaires now. I'm not talking about people who have 2 million or 3 million. People with hundreds of millions of dollars, investments worth that, are moving from Europe and America to other parts of the world. Where they and their investments are money, cash. Is safer. It's not totally safe because they're still invested somewhat in those places, those countries. So their investment may be taken. Wow. Look at this. This work is being done by a Chinese company. When it's finished, we'll take a look at it more in depth. But anyway, their investments and their cash, they might have gold, they might have Bitcoin or some other. Oh, yeah, good morning. Yep, the sand on the road. Their investments cannot be totally protected. But these are people who have their assets backed up. America is attacking Brazil. And I know some of them who have houses in Brazil, who have investments in Brazil. As a matter of fact, farms, thousands of acres of farmland. I met him on airplanes going to and from. Good morning. Yeah, I'm blogging. I've met him on, wow, this is the first time in Barbados that anybody has recognized what I'm doing walking with this. But we're growing. Some people are watching what's going on. As I was saying, I've met some of them on airplanes. I mean, some 25 years ago, it was more than 25 years ago. Met a guy who saw this coming, what we're seeing today. He said to me, farmland in America is getting too expensive. And him and a few other farmers in the US got together and started planting soybeans in Brazil. Sold their land, or part of their land in America, went to Brazil, started planting soybeans. 25 years ago. Today, America put a tariff of 25% on everything coming out of Brazil. Brazil decided to, you know what? We don't need your market. And China says, hey, you're a part of BRICS. And therefore, we're going to buy all the soybeans that you can produce. Now that guy who moved to Brazil protected his interests. He might still have a house in America, and he keeps it there for a reason. Tax purposes. As an American, he has to pay tax. And when he has a house in America, there are certain tax benefits to having an address in America. And before I would assume, I would make the argument that before he moved, he got his lawyer, he got his attorney and financial advisor involved in this. As a matter of fact, some of the people who invested in that were probably attorneys and financial advisors. Some, I can guarantee you, there are some American congressmen and other people who are in government who have land in Brazil, because they know what's about to happen in America. In I think it was 70 or 71. 70? I went to a concert in London. No, it was 1975. Concert in London. Marvin Gaye. You all have heard of the album that he came out with. What's going on? It was like a wake-up call for the world. I don't know where Marvin got the lyrics for that song, for that album from. But it's like Bob Marley. Where did he get the lyrics for some of his music from? Lucky Dubé. Where did he get the lyrics for some of his music from? That album, if you play it today, you will see everything that's happening today, everything that's being done, because it's not just happening. Once it's been put in motion, once it was put in motion, whatever happens after that, you know, some of it is, they know that it's planned and this is what will happen, but some of it, they don't exactly know what will happen. You know that when you're going to have a hurricane, we'll not go there. That's extreme. Well, we're in an extreme position today anyway. But you know, during a hurricane, wherever the eye passes over, you can expect destruction. Wherever the high winds hit, destruction. The highest winds. But on the outskirts of the hurricane, you're not sure what's going to happen. There might be a lot of flooding, might be a little flooding. You might be safe, you might not be safe. You know, because on the outer edges of that hurricane, if you get a lot of flooding in areas where you have a floodplain, those people are going to suffer miserably. In other areas, the water will just run off. Sometimes it may cause mudslides, but if you didn't plan on living on top of it, in the area where you call mudslides, like in California, your ego brought you there, and then you lose your house. You know, your ego puts you on top of Kilauea, and when the volcano go off, you can't get off the island, you know, but you want to be following those who are extremely wealthy who can fly out on helicopter. But you and your Rolls Royce still can't get off. That's what I'm talking about, the situation we're in today. But this guy that I met, and he's only one of them, invested in Brazil long ago. And now I see lots of Americans, English people. You go online on YouTube, you can see, I mean, thousands of YouTube vloggers making videos about China and comparisons of China to the US. Up to last night I was watching one, a few people going through the subways of Shenzhen and other places and showing you comparisons to New York City. New York City spending $60+ billion to repair the subway system. And that $60 billion put in a whole subway line, high speed now, Not those 30 miles per hour lanes in New York City. High speed. Put in New York City. In China, sorry. He shows you the subway with rats and garbage. The walls falling apart. And China, well maintained. Well maintained. The system is maintained. And you listen to Victor Zhao. You know, I listen to other Chinese professors and historians. And I tell you, China may never recover the investment from those railway lines. Some they will recover, like the first lines that they built, they will recover the cost from that. But the last lines that they're building may never recover that. But it's not about recovering your investment. It's about your people. Over 600 million people pulled out of poverty in China. I was watching the parade, and they show you these elderly Chinese, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, tears in their eyes as they sitting in their living room now, watching the parade, some at the parade, tears flowing down their faces when they saw their children what their children have done on their backs, because they labored, sent their children to school, educated their children with the hope that their children would carry on their legacy. And these children did. And then these people show videos of the American parade. And the comparison woefully lacking. So we had to plan these things. China didn't just willy-nilly, you know, they didn't allow so-called investors. Like in America, you gotta have private investors. And they're not gonna build something that builds up the whole country and let poor people benefit from it. They don't build companies to benefit poor people. They don't say, well, if these poor people benefit from it, they will be loyal to the company, you know, and they will put investment into the company, because when people see that a company is doing good and the company is taking care of them, they will come up with ideas on how to make that product or whatever they're delivering better. But if it's just about money for the rich, guess what? It's like, I don't know if you know about the previous stock market crash, about 2001. You had people who were trading stocks that were just using other people's money to trade in the stock to push the price up so they can make money. That's the way rich people do it. They are making a cut off of perceived value. So if they push your stock from $50 to $100, they're getting paid on $100, not $50. They're becoming millionaires. And when that stock drops, they don't have anything to lose. Morning. They don't have anything to lose. They walk away with the millions that they got from trading fees, and the poor man loses all his money. So that's why you never see a train, high-speed rail across America. Because all the rich people invested in airplanes. If you know how much money, I was in the airplane business, and if you knew how much money is made in that aircraft and airplane, oh man, in the travel business, I've seen airplanes that fly down to Brazil. One trip, a company making $1 million in cargo, where the first class passengers are paying for the fuel, the airplane to fly to Brazil, and the captain, first officer, well, two of them, three of them, and the flight attendants. All of the expenses involved in flying that airplane to Brazil was paid for by just those first class seats. The rest of the money that the airplane got from that flight was just profit. Didn't go to the employees. The people who loaded the airplane, they got what? $20 an hour. The 10 of them that loaded that airplane in a couple hours, so now what you having is that this system that's set up by those rich people falling apart. And you got Trump comes in and try to keep it like it is. All those rich people now, they moved all the manufacturing out of America so they can make more money, you know. Instead of paying an American employee $15 an hour like in Detroit at the time, move the manufacturing in China. Pay that Chinese worker $2 an hour. Ship the car back here, and it still costs less than what it costs to pay an American worker. What's up, brother, man?
No, yesterday, like what my two dogs got scratched foot.
Trump is trying to bring back the manufacturing that these same people moved out of the U.S. so they wouldn't have to pay the workers $15 an hour. If Trump moved that back to America, the workers now is going to have to be paid more. It's not a living wage, but $20, $25 an hour. But what's forcing them to come back is the taxes. And like we said in Brazil just now, Brazil said no. Okay, you go ahead and try selling your. China says you're not going to sell any soybeans here. We're going to buy all from Brazil. So now United States farmers are in trouble. And U.S. farmers deliberately put a lot of people around the world out of business so that they can capture the market. When necessary, they lower the price so low that farmers from other places cannot compete with their price. When they don't make money off the product that they sell to China, the government stepped in and give them a profit. But you will hear these people talk about communism and socialism and think that, wow, they have a good argument. No, they don't. If you pay attention, they didn't mind the socialism when they were getting money from the government to put other farmers from around the rest of the world out of business so they can capture the Chinese market. But now they've lost that market. watch what's going on in Venezuela right now. Right. In Venezuela, the U.S. now is trying to control the oil in Venezuela. That's what it's all about. Because they sanctioned Venezuela. The British took all the gold Venezuela had in the bank. U.S. took all the companies that Venezuela had in the U.S. Then Venezuela had to sell their oil to China. Now that China's cornered the market through BRICS for petroleum, they're looking back at Venezuela and say, we need Venezuela. Biden decided, you know what, this how are we going to do it? We're going to allow Venezuela to sell oil. We're going to buy the oil. Trump is saying, nope, we are sending the military down to take the oil. China come back and say, that's not really a good idea. We'll suggest to you that you allow people to trade as they want to, so they can benefit from their... You allow Venezuela to act on behalf of its own people. It wasn't a specific threat, but China don't normally... China speaks softly all the time. China have a lot of options if America moved into Venezuela. China has a lot of options if the U.S. moves into Venezuela. That will put more pressure on the U.S. economy and all those people who are running it. These are the things that you need to know in order for you to have that 75% or even 50% chance of overcoming what is happening and what is about to happen. Like I said, the rich people, America might be having a fight with Brazil, but they have a house in Brazil. America might be having a war with China, but they have a China account with huge amount of money in China, gold in their houses, and it's safe because Chinese, how many times do you, not that it doesn't happen, but breaking into somebody's house and stealing is not the thing in China. They got a house in China, a bank account, they have millions. Even in Russia, some of them got property in Russia that they didn't give up. They have property all over the world. You should see some of the houses in Barbados. You think Barbados, you see some of the houses I can show you in Barbados, $20–30 million to build. The problem with Barbados is that the government don't produce food enough to feed the people. If Barbados produces feed itself, it won't be, things won't be as bad as it, good morning, things won't be as bad as it's going to get. But the government is not investing in making Barbados food sufficient. Those same rich people who are making things bad for people in America who live in America, Americans and other people around the world, have secured themselves. Now, if you don't see that they are securing themselves, you might think that everything is okay for you also. You know? You might think, like I've seen a lot of Caucasians in America, we got a military that will destroy China and Russia. And that's their go-to. Not knowing that that's not going to be possible anymore. Those Chinese who are crying at their parade have seen their China rise up to a point where you can't bully it anymore. Have a great day wherever you are. Watch what you're doing. Make sure that you're making plans to, like I said, if you can, you have a place to go when things go out where that place is going to be safe. You can live in the middle of the Sahel Desert, you know. If you live in an oasis where you have water, where you can plant food, you can live there. The war is over, you survived. You can live a little island in the Pacific where it's not going to get hit. If you like the Philippines, you're going to get hit. You don't poke the dragon and not expect to feel the fire. Anyway, that's just how I see it. And I'm asking you to go look at it for yourself. Please do. Give yourself that opportunity to survive. Peace.